When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
We'll go to the worst, which was our number 9. First game back in since he slapped someone at OT who deserved it, really. But yeah, Martial, he had a stinker. He had a stinker, and I don't know how to explain it because he had a stinker in a way where you look at him and you look like he's not fit, but he's been playing games. So
it's not many games. I think, like I said, it's hard to become a player that's played. He's played 3 games, bro.
Nah, but he played in the Champions League, played against PSG, played against Leipzig, played against Istanbul, plus the first 3 games of the season. He's played 6 games this season. That was his 4th game. Just in general, what did you think of why he was so shit?
Again, as I said to you earlier on in the conversation, off air, like he's someone who doesn't have an in between. So you're going to get a good Martial, or you're just going to get a very bad. There is nothing. You don't say, "Oh, he's all right today." He's just either very poor or good player. And I feel that he sulks during games. If he's not getting the ball, you're not going to get a good Martial because he's not going to work for it, that's for sure. So it's a matter of trying to get Martial on the ball from early on in the game to get his mood up. And I think he's a very mood-based player. I've been defending for years, hoping that he's going to unlock his potential. Last season, he came through, showed me something. I'm just hoping that he can continue this season. Like I said, I think it's too early to write him off this season. I know a few people have, but I'm prepared to give him a chance, man. Like, let the guy get some rhythm going on. And when you're not, as a striker, when you don't have the goals, it starts playing on your mind. I mean, I think he just needs it. Even that penalty, it's not going to do very much. You need that goal to come from.
I think even the goal versus Istanbul, I think because it came in the game that it did, it's not going to do much for his confidence as well. But Morayo, just in general, what do you think has been lacking in his game this season?
Well, everything that was lacking in his game before the back end of last season. I think with us, and I think this is the reason why opposition fans are so onto him. We all have a lot of time for Martial. You could discuss the various reasons why. You could say it might be his first season, how well he did at 19 years old, just his general quality, some of the great goals he scored for us. But we all have a lot of time for him. I think his issue's always been the application of the ability that we know that he has. But the back end of last season, he was doing it, man. He was games where they weren't getting the ball to him and Rashford. He's dropping deep. He's linking up with Rashford. He's driving us up the pitch. He's scoring tough goals. He's scoring easy goals. He's scoring tap-ins. He's scoring like he was putting everything together. Obviously, he ends up now with, as his first full season up top, ends up with his highest scoring season. So for us now, it's like, okay, now you're starting to validate that faith we had in you. Because once a manager's let you play up top, they've let you play through your good and bad form, and you've responded by helping us get top 3, and you've scored the most goals you've scored. Obviously, COVID being COVID, they didn't have a long time off, and he's come back and he's looked slow and sluggish, and that's fair enough because, like Dwayne says, they aren't sharp. They're not fit. You can tell, like the games are coming through thick and fast. They're not having much time to train. Where my issue comes in is we're in November now. And that performance that he put in against Everton, it's the lack of urgency for me. Like, I need to see that you want it, bro. Like, I need to see that like, if you're not able to pop this season, we're going to have to go and get another striker. Like, we're going to have to go and get another striker. Like, last year gave you some equity, but you can't rest on your laurels because while those numbers were the best numbers you had, they're not mind-blowing numbers for a striker. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm looking for you to come in, and have your head down. Yeah, you can start slow, whatever the case may be, but I'm looking for you to be trying out there. If you're showing the same endeavor that you showed the back end of last season, you're not putting in performances like that. Like back end of last season, he was not content to let the game go past him. One thing you can say about Martial, his technical base is always solid. You fizz it into his feet, he's controlling it, he's stopping it. That never leave, but he's not even doing that, bro. Like, this is as bad as I've seen him ever. And I'm understanding that it's probably to do with not being sharp. But why aren't you sharp? Why aren't you sharper? Okay, I can see why you're not necessarily sharp. Why aren't you sharper? Why are you out there? Why don't you look hungry for it? What, bro? Like, I remember the first main pod back, Lewis and them were laughing about him not having had a shot, and I was just like telling them, how have you not had a shot on target? Like, you're a striker. And I get it. He likes to wait for like good high probability shots before he shoots on goal. He's not like a man who'll just turn and shoot just for the sake of it. But bro, like, we need you. Like, the way you and Rashford were carrying us through games the back end of last season, we need you to do that this season. Because it's still the same manager, it's still the same midfielders behind you who a lot of the time won't be able to find you. I just need to see more, man. I need to see way more from you, man.
We don't you're talking about his urgency, that.
Yeah.
I don't think, even throughout last season, I don't think he ever plays with real urgency. He's a very laid back, Berbatov kind of player. He don't elegant.
He's not that Berbatov. He's not.
No, as I said, not.
Elijah hates Berbatov, innit? You struck on
his approach to football. He never. I don't ever see him with urgency. You don't ever see Martial burst in the gut to get something.
You don't, but I think that back end of last season, he definitely did a lot more than what you usually see from him. The thing is, with attackers, you cannot be an attacker the way Martial plays and be a shooter. Because, bruv, even guys like Messi, yeah, who you think because he's so technically clear, gets to stroll. When the ball's in and around him, yeah, and he's in and around goal, if you see how sharp and active he is in terms of making things happen, fashioning chances for himself and his teammates, he's very, very aggressive. You cannot have Martial's laid-back approach to it and expect to be... You can't. And I definitely saw a difference between how he played the whole of the season up to when we came back from COVID. Yeah, he wasn't like Rashford levels of chasing man down or whatever. But for Martial, there was a noticeable difference. And in that noticeable difference, he was more productive and the team benefited as a result. I need you to come back with that level minimum. That needs to be the level of... You can't go back now. You can't go back to the Martial of before, who just like a few nice touches, a little turn, might duppy a man and then curl a nice... That's not enough, bro. That's not enough. Do you want it now? You're 24. You've been here for 5-6 years now. Do you want to establish yourself as one of them top guys? Because we know you can do it, but I'm not like I'm at the stage now where I don't have no affinity to none of these players, bro.
What are you saying the marker is for him then? Like, so this season, what's the marker? Otherwise, you got to get another striker. What is his marker?
See, now he's had like a poor 2 seasons. I think I need to see him at least match last season's numbers, and the overall performances have to be better from now going forward. Have to be better overall than his performances were last season, and that's asking a lot. That's asking a lot because of how poorly he started. But that's the minimum for me, man. You cannot come in and do worse than last season.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I think he has to be able to match last season, but I think I can only accept that if Rashford's in the same amount of goals. Do you know what I mean? If the rest of our strikers not banging it, he needs to get 20 plus. You rely on your front man to get 20 plus. I can't look at my striker be getting 17 and generally be happy with that. I was only happy last season because Rashford banged in, he banged in, and Greenwood got a decent amount as well.
Right.
So it worked out. But if all three of them are not going to do that, then 17 is not doing it. He's not doing it for a front man. Not if you want to establish yourself as a front man.
That's a good point, man. So let's say, hold on, before you interject, Elijah.
Okay, go.
Yeah. Go. Let's say Greenwood, I think Rash will get in and around last season's numbers. Let's say Greenwood doesn't. How many are you looking for Martial to grab then? Are you looking for him to make up the difference?
He's got to give me like 5, bro. He's got it's impossible. He's got to give me 20. Like between the front three, they've got to be close to 60, but they've got to be in the between 50 and 60 goals. They have to. That's the bar. That's the bar of a top attack. You can't be giving me less than that, bro. It's not good enough. And like I said, number 9 strikers, they are generally be banging, unless you're flipping like I said, you're banging 20 goals a season, bro. That is what your manager wants from you. I'm not interested in I worked hard. I'm not interested in any of that. Put the goals on the boards.
Facts. Before we go further, go on, Elijah. I want to see how you talk him out of this one.
What do you mean? I'm very fair on Marshall. I'm very fair on Marshall. But it's actually interesting because you spoke about before up until lockdown that he generally was quite poor. I feel like in that period he had one poor month in January where he was really shit with Liverpool, Burnley, and then Watford, which was at the start of Feb. Like those 3 games really poor. That game versus Liverpool essentially lost us that game. He could have got us back into it. Burnley, big chance as well, lost us that game.
Did he ever have in that period 2 good games in a row?
Huh?
But take out January. Did he have 2 good games in a row before?
He did. He had the Newcastle and Burnley, and then
Burnley. I don't even think he played well. He scored.
No. He played well. I think that game he should have got another one, but he done that stupidness where he tried to pass to someone else. So like, I do feel like he played well in the Burnley game, and like he should have got another one. Newcastle he played well as well. But yeah, I mean he's had like even at the start of the season when the Chelsea game he didn't play well, but Wolves he played well. Palace he played well again, but then he got injured at the end of the game. Should have had a penalty as well. Then he obviously had the injury where it was out until October. Then November, December times he was on and off. And then after the Wolves game, we had the winter break, and then we came back after Chelsea. He scored, played really bad. Watford, he was okay. He scored as well. And then versus Man City, probably one of his best performances last season. Even including lockdown, he was incredible. Like he was generally held up the ball. He was generally so good that Gary Neville gave him man the match that game, and that's how you know he was good.
Scary.
But I feel like you're completely right in terms of the urgency and all of that. And in terms of the goals, he needs to get more than last season. I'm not having the fact that he needs to at least match it. He needs to get more. And that's going to be more difficult because he's not playing in the Europa League. Even though he's got 2 goals in the Champions League, and last season he got, I think it was 4 goals in the Europa League. But the thing is that even if he does like match last season, I'm not even going to accept that. I want to see consistency in terms of the number of games he's scoring in. So like if he scores like 17 goals and he scored in like 10 games, I don't like that because we need someone who we can rely on, who's consistent.
Yeah, agreed.
He needs to have several games where he's getting at least one, because if you just look at the spread, for example, I'll go back to Aubameyang last season. I think he played 35 games. He scored in 17 games. And Martial scored in 14 games. And he got 17 goals. And you see it because Aubameyang, so this is another point with Martial. Aubameyang, he scored 2 goals in 5 games. Martial does not get multiple goals enough. So that will bring up his tally. So he needs to be more consistent in the games he scores in. And he also needs to be more consistent in the amount of games he scores in. And I just want to see more. That's it, really. I mean, he's had a poor start, but then he had a poor month last season. And I feel like people say it's November, but really and truly, the season starts for us mid-September. So we're kind of like a month. We're kind of like a month further than it looked. We're a month behind where it looked. So
it would be
right
October.
now.
That still wouldn't be good though.
That still wouldn't be good. That still really wouldn't be good. That still really would be good. But at the end of the day, he has also missed 3 games as well. And like, of course,
it's too early to jump on him. But would you take? You lot are going on about his performances here. You want better performances. Would you take a consistent amount of goals over performances, or do you want?
Of course, because he is a striker. That's your job. Like,
some people like to see the performance. I don't care about that.
No.
I'll take the goals over the performances.
The thing is that more often than not, if you perform well, you will do your job better. If you perform well as a striker, you will score goals because you are doing the right things. There's hardly times where you don't do the right things and you don't get paid off. And with Martial, he has so much quality that we've seen points where he's not played well, but he's still able to grab a goal out of nothing because he's a quality player. He's got talent. But with the performances like of a striker, like Morayo was saying, needs to be sharper in and around him. Like he needs to get shots off because there was times versus Everton where he tried to do that lay thing where he's passing it, doing 1-2s, get a shot off quickly because then more often than not, with the way with the type of player he is, if he's seen as someone who gets a shot off quickly, people close him down. Then he could pop it off and then make another run and then get an even clearer chance on goal. So it's about being sharper. Like he needs to be sharp. He needs to take more shots. He really needs to take more shots because
that's hard to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you're like, I'm a striker. Was I was a bit younger. Like, when you're a striker and you don't take much shots, to just put that into your game is difficult. I'm someone who didn't take a lot of shots. I like to know that he's going in. So I think he has that mentality. He don't pick up the ball and shoot from mad angles or nothing like that. He is someone who generally works.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, he don't take much shots. I think he generally likes to know that he's got an opportunity of scoring it.
But the funny thing is, and I'll bring in XG, and he consistently overperforms his XG. And the reason why he does that is because he has got down that curler from the left-hand side down.
Smash.
So because of that, he is scoring low percentage shots. But really for him, it's not a low percentage shot. So my point is, on the training ground, do that with every type of situation. Make it so you're able to do that from a tight angle, from like where, for example, like if you see with Aguero, that near post finish, that is not an easy shot to do, but he has that down pat, so he's able to do that. So I need to see more of that from Marshall with other types of finishes, because you can't just have one type of shot that you have where you're able to play. You have to get
The thing is, though, it's funny. We say that those are the shots we remember coming in from the left, opening up his body, side foot. But he showed like he's a good finisher. Like I've seen him hit a variety of different finishes. The thing is, he doesn't hit the other finishes enough. That's why I agree with you. He doesn't have the same confidence. Like that left foot shot against City, I didn't know he had that in him. I didn't know he had that in his locker to put that bottom corner on his left. And he showed that he's pretty decent in the air, to be fair to him. So I think actually the attribute, the skill of finishing, he's a pretty good finisher, man.
I agree. I think he's a very good finisher.
Yeah, I think he's a really good finisher. He just needs to be more. This is where I'm talking about the aggression. Like I think back to, and this is old school, like Mista. He played for Valencia. Yeah. Like, for the most of his career. Yeah, most of his career. Yeah, he was a pretty average striker, but he had a few seasons where he like banged out. And one of the seasons he banged out, they got to the UEFA Cup final. Bruv, man got the ball from like the halfway line, yeah, and just shot. Like it went wide. I was like, this guy's scoring today. And he scored. He just had that. You have to have that mentality. Once you're in and around the vicinity of the goal, yeah, I could give it to Greenwood, I could give it. But you know what the best option is here? I'm gonna shoot. The best option here for me, I think, yeah, he's a better player than Rashford. But the way
that's what I've been saying for years.
Yeah, I know, and you chat to Ant in it, and I know where Ant stays, but the way Rashford goes about his business, you can't help but favor Rashford, because that, like I said to you guys, that being active and being on your toes and being aggressive is what makes people top attackers. That is, when you look at all the guys who are top attackers, that is one thing they all have in common. Like, it's not even necessarily if you're like a goal scorer, even guys who are creative, they're aggressive in their ability to go about trying to make chances, trying to make progressive things happen on the pitch. When you're content to just lay it off to the side and it's a nice little gather, nice touch, and then you give it to a man, then you're not trying to punish them enough. You're not trying to
You
punish
have
them.
that killer instinct, bro. And
Bro,
I think he did that.
And it's weird because he's shown the ability to have it, because I always remember the Southampton goal from last season. He picks up from the halfway line, runs at him, takes it into the box and pams it into the net.
That's the game, that game and Crystal Palace, where him and Rashford just took it on themselves to win us the game, yeah? That's why I said, if this is how he's going to play now going forward, this guy's going to bag goals, and I ain't got no question marks about it. So I was really looking forward to this season, because I had a few arguments about him the back end of last season.
But, I
was really looking forward to this season for him to come out And because obviously once he had a good season or kind of good season, we were like, all right, now you lot can see why we like Martial. And people are like, well, to be fair, he only got 17. Like, it's all right, but like Dwayne said, it's not super impressive. So
you can't even defend it.
Exactly, this was the season for him to now fully put his stamp down. Yeah, bro, man ain't getting shots on target, man. Come on, man.
Do you think the manager can unlock a bit more from players? If we had a better coach, do you think they'll be able to unlock, or do you think this is just Martial and he's got to be able to do it himself?
I think for attackers, Ollie's good. That's what. So for the guys who are strikers and goal scorers, Ollie's a great. See, I think his real job is probably strikers coach. Like talking about knowing how to hit the back of the net, he's a great person to teach you, and you can tell when he talks, and the things he comments about when it comes to Martial, he knows exactly what Martial is lacking, and that's what they're trying to drill into him. So it's kind of like, yes, we're patient with him because he has talent and he wants to learn. He needs to know how to score those scrappy goals. He needs to know how to be active in and around the box. So I don't know if another manager necessarily gets more out of them individually. What a better system does is a better system. Yes, I'd agree. That puts him in a position more where he's able to do the things that he's good at, which will then naturally lead to him being more productive. So we have to give them dues because, to be honest with you, him and Rashford, the last 5 years, when could we say we've had a good attack that allows our strikers to have multiple opportunities? They don't. So most games, they'll probably get 2-3 good chances in a game. So to be fair to you, the numbers they put up when you're thinking of that is pretty impressive. But still within Martial, he can do more. He can definitely do more. But I agree with you that this is not necessarily the best system for a striker to rack up numbers. But Martial himself can definitely do more.
Do you know what? It's so strange because I remember Berbatov speaking about Martial. He absolutely loves him. Yeah, he literally worships the ground he walks on for some reason. I mean, it's good, but I actually still hate him. But he was speaking about Martial, and he always used to say it's strange because this guy is so talented, but his confidence can get knocked so easily, and it's weird. And I feel like, thinking about it, I think that Sevilla game where he missed those chances and we lost the game, and then we're coming back after Palace is not sharp, and the more and more it continues, the more and more his confidence goes down. And then you spoke about after lockdown, and I will still remember the first game back. People were complaining about Martial versus Spurs, saying Martial lazy, just not being involved in the game. He gets that hat-trick versus Sheffield United, and you can even see him on the bench smiling. And from then on, he just kicked on for the rest of lockdown. And I feel like being that much of a confidence player is going to be an issue for him, man, because like there are times where things aren't going well, and you still need to be able to do the basic things that you're needed to for your job. So it's like, bro, I completely understand it, but like it's getting to a point now where, bro, like you're not even being technically secure. Like he needs to shape up, and I'm hoping with the run of games that's going to be kicking off from November to Jan, he's going to get into a groove, and then he can kickstart something, because there's still time to forge a decent season from this. So we'll see in that regard.
I think at 24, anyway, for me, he's on last saloon. I like Martial, but I can't be saying this when he's 25, 26, 20. He's got to do it now. Like, he's had long enough to establish himself, and he's going too slow. So for me, if he doesn't do it this season, I am done with him, bro. Like, this is his last chance for me.
I hear you. And it's so interesting. This is the final thing I'll say, yeah, is that when you actually go back and look at strikers, the only guys who really bag goals before they're 25 are like the phenomenons, like the Ronaldos, the so that's Ronaldo, that's in R9.
Zlatan.
Not even, bro. Not even Zlatan. I think there was one season in Juve when they were winning leagues where he grabbed like 3 league goals. Like, even Zlatan, it wasn't until like he was 25, 26. Most of them, you go and look, and it's 25, 26 when they turn that corner and they start being like prolific, like, because it's a combination of the mental attributes, the physical attributes, and the knowledge accumulation of having played so many games and understanding the different ways to approach different defenses. So to write a man off at 24 feels a bit harsh, but I feel like with the context of what we know of Martial, remember 2 of his seasons, he lost them to Jose Mourinho, him and Rashford. Like, when I think of them, I think they're 2 years further behind in their development than they should be, because those seasons under Jose, man was dropping them for whatever. They're picking up the ball on the half turn at the halfway line, and they have to find the route to goal. So I do pity them in that regard. Ollie's the first coach they've had in 3 years who's basically just said, no matter how you play, you're going to start the next game. You're going to start the next game. You're going to start the next game, giving them that confidence. So it feels like too soon to give up on him, but I'm with you as well, Dwayne, man. If it don't happen this season,
I'm not saying he's got to go bang with 25. I've got to see something again this season. I can't afford another dead season from him. I just can't do it, man.
Same.
I know
you got one more in you, Elijah, yeah?
I know you said that.
No.
All those goals there, but when a man like Lukaku can do it, you can do it, bro. Like,
It's not.
You wouldn't want to look at them kind of man there.
Do you know what? It's not even that. Like, this is last season. The thing is, yeah, as soon as I saw Greenwood, I've not been concerned about. I'm actually not concerned about that now. For me right now, with Martial, it's a fact of either make it so we have to play 2 up top, or you're back up to Greenwood. Like, that's it. Like, at this point, Greenwood is looking like he's going to be an incredible number 9. So at this point, it's like, bro, it is your job to make it so we have sick competition, or we're playing 2 up front. Otherwise, you're going to be on the bench, and that's it. Like,
yeah. So Zlatan, that season at Juve, he scored 7 league goals, 10 goals in 47 games. His first, what I'd call prolific league season, so above 20 league goals, was when he was 27.
Jesus, man.
And then he just went on a madness from there.
Yeah, because I mean, like with strikers, you see like they will blossom late, like a Falcao. Like he came to the fore quite late. Even Lewandowski comes to the fore quite late. So in a sense, it is harsh on Martial, and especially thinking about the fact that last season was his first season as an actual number 9 throughout the season. So you spoke about the fact that playing the position, you get that know-how. He hasn't had that know-how in playing that for that position. Well. So it's very weird, but I feel like he's so good. This type of pressure is needed on him, and he's even said himself that he prefers it when coaches and managers are harsh on him. So yeah, it's whatever.
That's good,
I don't think I believe him.
Dad, he said
he seems like he's mentally
he loved Louis van Gaal.
What did you say? He said what?
No, he said the reason why he used to love working with Louis van Gaal is that he was really really harsh on him, and I found that weird. But apparently, he really likes it.
I bet this time man wasn't even harsh. He just thought it was harsh. Like he doesn't seem like someone that can. Like he seems like he didn't get the arm around it all the time. He's not someone who can. It doesn't look like that to me. He don't look like it just hits someone in the back and keeps it pushing. Like it's like you tap me, he's turning around, but he looks a bit soft to me, man.
Yeah, yes.
No. I think it does, but it's just like it just goes over his head rather than it stimulates him. So we're like, so we're like, oh yeah, Martial your shit, and we're like, okay. And then
facts.
Like, calm. I was like, oh, okay.
When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.